it's kind of like the first I think you said you didn't see the first Paranormal Activity. Go back and rewatch it. There's nothing scary about it. Everything scary about that movie is stuff that you're making up in your head. That's the movie that made me realize that a lot of this stuff, a lot of things that these people that make these scary movies do, make the viewers think for them. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing happening, but you're making something up in your head.
it's putting the scenario in their mind. Basically, what it's doing is it's giving you the thought. It's giving you that little bit of a thought to where like the situation could play out this way, the situation could play out that way, or whatever could happen. That's the intent of a lot of these movies. They want you to think of the worst case scenario when really nothing bad is going to happen at all.
Halloween is right around the corner, and there's no better time to dive into one of life's biggest questions. Why do we love horror movies so much? From jump scares to psychological thrillers, horror taps into something primal. But what exactly is it about being scared that keeps us coming back for more? Let's break down the science and psychology behind our fascination with fear. Horror movies trigger a strong fight or flight response in our bodies, releasing a
Adrenaline.
adrenaline, yeah, and dopamine. People were like, "This dude can't talk."
I was gonna say that to me, it's about adrenaline. Adrenaline.
Mhm.
It's about like not knowing what's next and expecting the unexpected. Whenever you watch like
Exactly.
psychological, scary movies and shit like that.
hmm And then, like, so supposedly it releases dopamine for that, which we're weird. But this explains why many people are drawn to the thrill of being scared. Do you think this rush is the primary reason we love horror movies, or do you think there's something deeper at play?
That's probably a little bit of both.
Mm.
The fact that maybe uh, I'm not gonna like say it might have something to do with our past, but it could have triggered something like that. But I honestly feel like it deals more with what we were saying before, the adrenaline, the dopamine, watching the unexpected, trying to figure out what's going on in the movie and trying to see what happens next.
Yeah.
That always, for me, gets me going whenever I watch a horror movie.
That's true, man. Growing up, I was terrified of Chucky and I was terrified of Michael Myers. And now those two slashers are like so important to me and mean so much to me. And like I rewatch all their movies like every year. Um so growing up being afraid of scary movies to now I enjoy them is
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like I wouldn't necessarily even say I'm afraid anymore. There's only a few films that I'm legit afraid of. The Exorcist, the original, the first one that came out in the 70s, I will never watch it again.
I
But
was, I was,
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, I would say other than that, I mean, I'm not afraid to really watch any scary movies.
I was thinking of like this question, like now I feel like now we've kind of left the era of slashers and we're more in like the psychological jump scares,
Mhm.
the thrillers, kind of like things that are dealing more with like everyday life
Mhm.
and situations that could happen realistically. Like if someone were to put a plan together, certain things that happen in these movies could really happen.
Yeah, yeah. I think you know what I find creepy in movies for
What's that?
Annabelle Creation is one of the scariest movies I ever seen in theaters. The noise, the music, the silence. You know what's the crazy? The silence is scary,
Mm.
and then the loud, random little burst of noise that popped. That movie scared the shit out of me, bro. I saw that in theaters. I want to say back in 2017. And I went home and I felt very uncomfortable. Like the next day, I went to go get a dog. Bro. That's how uncomfortable I felt. So seriously, I'm not even joking. So I think that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think the fact that we chase that thrill and you know you're going to be scared. Now that I got a family, like I'm not afraid to come home anymore. I'm not by myself. But when I lived on my own, bro, coming home by yourself after a scary movie, it was crazy.
No, that must have been intense. But I think of like more about that question you would ask earlier, as far as like why we're so attracted to scary movies. I think it's because when we're playing out the role or we're playing out the plot in our head as the movie's going along, we make it worse in our head than what's actually going on in the movie, and
That's
it kind of
true.
like builds it up. So it builds up our expectations and it builds that suspense, and it kind of like attracts us more and more to what's going on in the story.
Yeah, bro.
It's always that curiosity of what's gonna happen next, what's going on in the darkness, who's the demon or supernatural force or whatever it is.
Hmm.
I think that's why we're so attracted to whatever's going on in the story.
I have to agree 1,000%. Yeah, it's something about it, man. We keep going back, which is the crazy part. Like even
Hell
people
yeah.
who love scary movies still get afraid. It's kind of crazy that we chase that. Uh, Horror movies allow us to experience fear in a safe, controlled environment. We can face we can face terrifying situations without any real danger, which is part of the appeal. Do you agree that this is why people enjoy horror movies, or is it more about the emotional release they provide?
It's the first thing you said, as far
Mm,
as like us being able to enjoy it without anything really happening to it. We're kind of like a fly on the wall watching certain scenes and scenarios take
yeah,
place, and we're able to enjoy it safely instead of actually partaking in some of these crazy scenarios that happen in the movie.
yeah. Because when I watch scary movies, I always put myself in the protagonist's shoes. Like I always put myself like, man, what the hell would I do in that situation? And then it kind of freaks me out, But then when you realize when the movie's over, you walk out, you're like, yeah. I mean, the anxiety kind of goes away when you're watching it. You're like really anxious, and because you're putting yourself in their shoes, and then when you leave, honestly, sometimes like for the rest of the night, I'm still thinking about it. But once I wake up the next day, I'm like, okay, you kind of
Well,
get over it.
let me ask you this. Do you think now we're trending towards movies, like as far as like horror movies, the things that happen in horror movies, do you think we're trending to them being more realistic?
Depends on because I don't believe in like demons and shit.
No.
Although I have had stories in the past like with freaky shit going on in my house, like when my whole family was gone, and I heard something running upstairs, a light was on. No, a light was off, and a light cut on. Well, and then still shit like that happened, but I'm like, man, I was tripping, bro. I don't know what the fuck. No, I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, the crazy thing is, wouldn't something more like Scream be more realistic to something like The Conjuring?
Yeah, I mean this Scream, I mean it's totally capable of happening.
Hmm? So, you know,
Movies like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
yeah,
Um, I can't think of anything else. The Strangers, yeah,
yeah, stuff like that. That's
it's
kind of
possible.
crazy because like those can really happen now. The odds of somebody walking around with a ghost outfit or with a mask on killing people is crazy.
You
But
know, it's a perfect example of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on a true story. Actually.
yeah, it's based on a real person. I don't know if
Oh
he's
well,
actually
yeah,
chasing
well,
people
yeah,
around
you're
with a
right.
chainsaw. But that would be crazy.
You're
It's
right.
based on some dude from like Nebraska or something. I think like
Yeah, dude was like, it was already dead people's like faces that he was taking off and wearing it.
mhm. And he has multiple like characters based on him. It's not just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When I was like looking into it, I was like, wow, what the hell? This dude's some legendary. Why do we like that? Why are we fascinated with this shit?
There's so many things as far as like looking back in history, it's people being grotesque and doing weird shit like decapitating bodies and just being deranged. I don't know why humans are like that.
Yeah. We're weird, bro. We flock to danger and violence, which is um actually quite terrifying. See this?
I don't know why we do that. There's got to be some type of study out there that like some type of deep dive that kind of goes into the intricacies of why are we so fixated on horror, fixated on things that give us adrenaline, and fixated on things that could potentially kill us.
Hmm? We're weird like that, bro. The humans are wired weird. We pay more attention to negative things. Like negative things catch our attention. Positive things just kind of go over our head most of the time.
I think because
Okay,
we take the positive things for granted.
it's very true. Uh, but here I have many people find horror films to be a form of catharsis. I think I said that right. Allowing them to confront their anxieties in a low stakes way. Do you think horror serves as a useful outlet for stress and fear in this way, or is it more of an adrenaline rush for viewers? Probably both, to be honest.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the adrenaline rush because people I feel like people just are attracted to being scared, attracted to getting their hearts pumping, attracted to just going through an experience that they don't know, they really won't know the outcome, but they know they'll be safe
Mhm.
in the end because they're just viewers. They're just viewers of what's happening in the story.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think it could be a bit of both. Like I said earlier, I was terrified of Chucky and Michael Myers. Now, like after growing up and watching their movies so much, it's kind of like a I feel more comfortable. I feel safe. It's like a safe place in a if that even makes sense. Watching those their films, and then for the adrenaline part, yeah, it kind of is. Like the humans are thrill seekers, man. We like it. We enjoy thrill. But the fact that we like scaring ourselves is just so weird to me. Because I'm a part of the problem. Like I voluntarily go see scary movies all the time. Now my wife, for example, she hates clowns. So anytime she sees a clown, like in a commercial, like a Pennywise just randomly pops up on, social media, she gets terrified. So for her, I mean, people like her kind of probably view it different. They don't they chase a rush in a different way. But
But
I think,
I think that's a thing too. It it's different. People have different fears. There's different things that scare different people. And I think that's what a lot of these movie studios are realizing. But there's certain things that scare the majority, which
mhm,
is kind of interesting as well. Like
yeah,
whether it be like a slasher or something that's supernatural,
mhm,
demonic. There's certain things that actually do scare the majority, which allows these people to go see these movies and collectively be scared.
yeah. Which is weird, right? Because my mom hates demonic movies. And even though when I was younger, we would watch them, she hates them now for some reason.
Mm.
But she refuses to watch them. I just don't want to. To me, it's just a movie. Like, but I guess to some people, they think if you watch it, you're gonna bring these demons to your home. I'm like, I just don't think that way. Like, I'm like, dude, the millions of people who watch this, I'm sure, right? So you're one of a million people that you watch this movie, and the demon's gonna pop up in your house. Like, that's just crazy to me. And if a demon pops, why does a why does a demon need a movie to come to your house?
That's a good point.
Like, I just don't get it, bro.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I my mom would probably cuss me out if I asked her that.
There's certain demons attached to certain movies that's wild to think about.
And they're gonna come to your house.
Why are they waiting to come to the house with you though?
That's what I don't understand.
It's funny. The demon after the movie, you go to the grocery store. You go certain places, and the demon is just in the car.
Just waiting on you to come back. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, it's the whole time. It's like I gotta be somewhere.
Oh, that's it. Bro, that's
Oh
insane.
God,
That's insane.
take that demon with you everywhere you go to night school. That demon's with
Like, oh my god, man, that would be kind of odd. A demon just
That's
following me
kind of fun.
everywhere.
Though.
I would try to make the demon feel uncomfortable. If I
I,
know a demon's following, I'm gonna make it feel very uncomfortable.
bro, that's what I'm saying. If I'm in a haunted house and I know there's a ghost in that house, I'm making that ghost feel so. I'm doing the weirdest things. I'm running around the house naked.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make this.
yeah,
I'm making this house ghost think that I'm fucking crazy.
yeah. The ghost,
Okay,
hey, something wrong with
the
this
ghost
dude.
gonna leave. The ghost gonna leave.
The
You're like,
ghost
what's
go,
wrong with this dude?
it's gonna kick you out. Get the fuck out.
The ghost calls the cops on me.
Yo, that's insane, bro. Yeah, I just don't get it. I never understood why people say if I watch this movie, this is gonna happen to me. Yo, it's millions of people that watch this movie and nothing happened to them. Come on, it is.
Man, they end up perfectly fine. Maybe
Yeah.
they. That's the thing with certain movies that you have to watch out with certain people and certain. certain people's psyche. Maybe they feel like they want to go reenact that movie if it's like a slasher or
Yeah.
something super violent or gory.
Surprised no one ever tried to reenact Saw. I'm glad they haven't, but yeah, some crazy people in
Man,
the world, bro.
man, you'd be surprised, man.
But for the
Every
people
time,
who, oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
There you go. You can go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like every time I'm watching a documentary or biopic, if it's something like violent, something about like a murder, I'm thinking to myself like the next big murder or the next big like serial killer is doing the act right now.
Dude, there's some crazy people in this world, man. There really is. Like it's just, but that's crazy to think about. Before, the people who believe that if they watch a movie, a
Uh,
demon is going to attach itself to them or something. I think they got more like issues going on. Like they kind of make things up in their head. Like you know how like you're at home alone and you hear a noise instead of be like, oh, maybe it's a squirrel or or something like on the roof. You be like, oh my god, there's something in this house. You start thinking of the worst things.
it's a
You're not even
demon.
being rational at this point. Like you just, but some people, man, just create. It's kind of like the first the you. I don't think you. I think you said you didn't see the first Paranormal Activity. Go back and rewatch it. There's nothing scary about it. Everything scary about that movie is stuff that you're making up in your head. I really once that's the movie that made me realize that a lot of this stuff, a lot of things that these people that make these scary movies do make the viewers think for them. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing happening, but you're making something up in your head.
it's putting the scenario in their mind. Basically, what it's doing is it's giving you the thought. It's giving you that little bit of a thought to where like the situation could play out this way, the situation could play out that way, or whatever could happen. That's the intent of a lot of these movies. They want you to think of the worst case scenario when really nothing bad is gonna happen at all.
Mm-hmm. It's on the money, bro. That's on the money. So for this last part for this segment, I have different cultures have different fears, which is why some horror movies resonate differently across the world. What horror subgenre do you think speak most to universal fears, and which ones are more niche?
Damn, it's a great question. I feel like whatever deals with the supernatural, I feel like we gravitated so far from the slashers and like dudes in masks and
Mm-hmm.
you know freaking people just cutting up people. I think we gravitated so far from being afraid of that to where we're more afraid of being to where we're more afraid of the supernatural.
I agree. I agree. I think the supernatural ones, the demonic ones, movies like, or even like movies like Hereditary or Midsummer, I think resonate more across the world than the slashers do now today. Um, and even like the slashers or movies like Saw, any like what's the word I'm looking for? Gory,
Psychological,
any
gory.
gory type movie, I think is more of a niche now, and I think more people fear the psychological, supernatural type movies. Like for reasons that you even said earlier, people were like, man, this stuff could probably really happen, or if you believe in that kind of stuff, it kind of freaks you out. Um,
Because
so
the
I think,
supernatural is unknown.
yeah,
We don't
thanks.
that, and I think that's the fear of it is it's unknown.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the answers. We don't know the outcome. So that's why we fear it, and it
Mm-hmm.
adds on to that fear, and it adds on to the adrenaline, and that's why it kind of messes with our mind in the same aspect.
Yeah. And if you look at the horror movies made around the world, like I know a lot of Japanese movies focus on that stuff too. Well, VHS, The Grudge, I think even the original Ring movie was Japanese too. They kind of focus more on the supernatural aspect, and then it kind of gravitated towards the Western culture, where we kind of start focusing on supernatural rather than slashers or vampires, werewolves, stuff like that. And then like even zombies, like at one point was a big thing, but now I think that's more of a niche as well. But this supernatural demonic stuff, I think for sure stands out.
The scariest
Yeah.
to me, yeah. Because like I said, it's unknown, and we kind of hype it up in our minds as far as like how scary is it gonna be to us?
Mm-hmm. And like, bro, let's just be real. If you're home alone, walking around in the dark in your house can freak you out sometimes. Be like, man, somebody fucking following me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like going around the corner, you don't know what's around that corner. So it is kind of scary.
There's even like YouTubers and TikTokers who are like making content of like spirits following them around the house or like a monster following around the house. I'll send it to you. There's one dude that does a really good job because he he lives in this old fucking house, this
Yeah.
old house that's like when you're looking at it, it's like man, yeah, something could pop out and scare him, and he does a good job of like making content that's like tailored toward.
I mean, I get it, but like, I just first, I don't believe in that stuff. But even if I did, I wouldn't be doing that shit, bro. I just wouldn't be playing with it. Like,
Like
that's just
Ouija
me.
boards
Yeah,
and
that's just me.
crosses and spells and blood oaths and all that witch stuff.
Yeah, like although I don't really believe, I'm going to mess around with the shit. I don't want to. I don't want to find out the hard way that is real. Like that's just me, bro.
That's a good point. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Like I really don't believe in that stuff, but I also don't want to find out the hard way that it does exist.